Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you are doing very well. Guys, today we're gonna talk about gravity and satellites, okay? Actually we have studied gravity before. We said gravity is a pulling force or attracting force, but we didn't say much more about this. How it's gonna increase, how it's gonna decrease. So what are what is this gravity depends on. So let's see. Today we're gonna learn about the some more about gravity and some about satellites. So let's start. Bismillah. Guys, before we have studied that, we said gravity is an attracting force. It's pulling force. So we call this gravitational force. Okay, it means gravity. So let's see in which situation this gravitational force will increase and in which situation it will decrease. So the strength of gravitational force depends on two things. What are they? These two: size and distance. The strength of gravity depends on size and distance. So when we have two things, for example, like moon and earth, we are going to depend on their size and their distance to detect which one is gravity is more than the other one, which one is gravitational force is more than the other one. Which one is pulling force, which one is attracting force. So let's see how the size is going to effect of the gravitational force and how distance is going to affect. So for the size first, a larger object exerts greater gravity. It means larger, greater. Larger object means greater gravitational force than a smaller object. Okay? It means in here we have moon and earth. Which one is larger? Of course, earth. You see both of them in the picture and you see earth is more. So according to this rule that it said the larger object exerts greater gravitational force, it means that earth is going to exert greater gravitational force on moon compared to moon on earth. You see, it said a larger object exerts greater gravitational force than a smaller object. If we compare the gravitational force that Earth exerts on Moon and Moon exerts on Earth, we will understand according to this rule that a larger object exerts greater. We say that directly Earth exerts a greater gravitational force. Why? Maybe someone say why Earth is going to exert a greater gravitational force. You will directly say because Earth is larger. If we have something else that connected with the Earth and that thing will be larger than the Earth, so it means in this case the other one will exert a greater gravitational force. So an example is here. Jupiter exerts greatest gravitational force among all the planets. Okay, we have these planets, right? So you see that Jupiter is the largest one. We all know that Jupiter is the largest planet. So according to this rule, we will understand that Jupiter exerts a largest gravitational force. We said which one is larger? That one is exert more gravitational force, greater gravitational force, greater gravity. So according to the rule, we will understand that because in these planets, Jupiter is the largest. That's why the gravitational force of Jupiter is the greatest. Because it's the largest, the gravitational is the greatest. Okay, so it means Earth exerts greater gravitational force on Moon, but Jupiter, but is smaller gravitational force on Jupiter. Why? Because it's smaller than Jupiter. It's larger than Moon. That's why the gravitational force is greater. but it's smaller than Jupiter, that it means the gravitational force of Earth compared to the Jupiter is smaller, is less. So, and we said two things, right? One was size, that we talk about that. Which one is larger, has more gravitational force, means greater gravitational force. Let's see, go for the next one. Distance. A closer object exerts greater gravity or gravitational force than farther objects. It means if we have moon and earth, again, let's come back for this example. So now their distance is constant, okay? It's constant. So if we increase the distance between them, what's gonna happen? According to this rule, because the closer object exerts greater gravitational force, it means the farther is smaller gravitational force, right? So if we increase the distance, the gravitational force will decrease, okay? It will be smaller. But what happens if we make them closer to each other? So according to this rule, we said that closer objects closer object exerts greater gravitational force. It means if we make them closer to each other, their gravitational force will increase, will be greater because they get closer to each other. So easy. Larger objects, the greater gravitational force, smaller object, smaller gravitational force. So closer object, greater gravitational force, far objects, the objects that far from each other will have smaller gravitational force. These two rules are very easy. And guys, let's just explain this thing before talking about satellite. So we see that there are two arrows between moon and earth. If you check them, if you just look at just focus on the arrows, you see that the red one is larger than the green one. It means by this way we have studied before. We said that every larger arrow means a greater force. Every larger arrow means greater force. In here, the red one is larger than the green one. What does it mean? It means the force of the red one is larger than the green one. So the force of the red one is greater than the green one. So even if I remove this written here, you will directly know which one is the gravitational force of Earth, which one is the moon. First, by direction, that you see that the red one is for the Earth side. You see it's moving to Earth. It means moon moved to Earth, okay? And the green one is for the moon side. It means Earth moved to moon. Moon is pulling Earth. And the red one is moon to Earth. It means Earth pulling moon. So forget about the direction. By the size, you will directly know it. By their sizes, you know that the red one is larger. It means the force is larger. Which one has a greater force? Which one? We studied that. We said a larger object exerts greater gravity. We know that. That Earth exerts larger gravity. It means the larger arrow, is for the greater gravity. Which one has greater gravity? Earth. It means the red one is the gravitational force for Earth. Why? How do you know the red one is the gravitational force for Earth? Because the red one is larger, it means larger force, larger gravitational force. And we know that Earth exerts a greater gravitational force because Earth is larger. When the object is larger, the arrow is going to be larger because the gravity is greater. And in here, the moon is smaller, so the arrow is smaller. Why? Because the gravity is smaller. The gravitational force is smaller. So it means that by the size of the arrows we can easily detect which gravity is that. Even if I remove the direction, you will just know it. Which one is the gravitational force of Earth? Which one is the moon? remove even if we can say just forget the direction, the larger one is Earth, the smaller one is Moon. Why? Because Moon is larger, is the greater gravity, and sorry, Earth is larger and the greater gravity. Moon is smaller, a smaller gravity. That's why the arrow must be smaller, and because the Earth is large, the gravity of Earth is great, so the arrow must be a large size. So these are all about the gravity. We have studied gravity before, and now we know which time gravity is going to increase and which time is going to decrease. Okay, so the size and distance are two main things for the gravitational force. If the size is large, the gravity is greater. If it's small, gravity is smaller. If they get closer, the gravity is more. If they get far from each other, gravity is less. So let's go for the next one, which we said gravity and satellite. So now let's go for satellite. Satellite is any body that orbits a larger body. So it means this is a body, okay, a small body that orbits a larger body, which is the Earth. If you look here, in this part, you see that a satellite orbits a larger body. It means a satellite orbits Earth. We know that Earth is larger than the satellite. So it means when something small orbits or moving around a larger one, something small, which is small, orbits a larger thing, we call this small thing satellite. Okay, so satellite is any body that orbits a larger body. Right now in here, this is small, orbits a larger body. And moon, you know that moon is continuously move around Earth, right? Orbits the Earth. And we know moon is smaller than Earth. Moon is a satellite because it's a body orbits a larger body. Earth is larger, right? When moon move around the Earth, it means moon is satellite. So, but you have to know that moon is a natural satellite, okay? Moon is a natural satellite, not artificial, okay? We will study artificial satellite, but you have to know that moon is a natural satellite because it was already exist. Nobody has made it. God made it, okay? Allah made it. So Allah created, that's why we say that it is natural. If something made by human, by scientists, then we can say artificial. So let's go for the end. So satellite is any body that orbits a larger body, and moon is a natural satellite. Not it's because it was exist, we didn't make it. So because it's smaller, I mean it's something small that orbits a larger one. That's why we call the moon satellite. And moon and Earth exert gravitational force on each other. But the Earth's gravitational force is greater because it's larger. We studied it before. We said that Earth exerts greater gravity because Earth is larger. We studied this. And guys, we have something else that was about satellite, that any small body that moves a larger body, we call this satellite. And moon is an example for natural satellite because it's moving around a larger body, which is Earth. And we have something else, we call it artificial satellite. Artificial satellite, it means that artificial satellites are designed and made by scientists. It means this is artificial satellite. Okay, this is artificial satellites. Okay, these are artificial satellites. Why? Because scientists made it. Scientists designed it, and they send it to space to orbit the Earth, to move around the Earth, to take the information from the Earth and send it to us. So it means artificial satellite. Natural means it was already exist, but when you say artificial, it means human made it, science made it. So artificial satellites are designed and made by scientists. Like we have TV, GPS, and that we can use this GPS in many places, on ship and in the car and any different places. You can go to many places and you can find this place easily because of this GPS. You know where it is. So it means this satellite will send us the information where this place is. So Artificial satellite is designed and made by scientists. When you say artificial, means human made it. Be careful. Any other times, not only here. So, artificial satellites are launched in space by a powerful rocket. So, I mean, artificial satellites are launched, I mean, sent and uh, stabled in space by a powerful rocket. When they send it to space, they have to use this powerful rocket. Okay, they have to use rocket. It means rocket is very important for sending them because that's the only way to send them. So it means scientists are going to make this artificial satellite to send it to space and send them back information. But how should they send them this artificial satellite to the space? By a rocket. Okay, they will launch this uh, artificial satellite in space by the rocket, as we said. So that was all about gravity and satellite. And we said gravity is pulling and attracting force, which the strength of this gravitational force, how strong it is going to depend on two things. Depend on the gravity depends on size and distance. If the size is larger, gravity is greater. If it's smaller, the gravity is smaller. If the distance, if the objects closer, gravity is greater. If they far from each other, gravity is less. And we said Jupiter is the exerts greatest gravitational force among all the planets because it's the largest planet. We said how large it is means how great gravity it is. So, and satellite is any body which orbits a larger body. When we have a body that orbits a larger one, we call this satellite. Moon is a natural satellite, we said, because God Allah made it before it was already exist when we come to on Earth. It was already exist. We didn't make it. Made this we didn't create this, so we will say it's natural satellite. And we mentioned these two also. Moon and Earth exert gravity and gravitational force. On each other, but the Earth's gravity is greater than the Moon. Why? Because it's larger. Because Earth is larger, exerts more gravity, greater gravity. Artificial satellites are designed and made by scientists, such as like TV. We said like GPS, and any other things. We have international space station for the science there, and they can go there and take information, send back everything. Artificial satellites are launched in space by a powerful rocket, as we said. And that was all about gravity and satellite. I hope you understand. If you have any questions, you can just feel free to ask. Best wishes.